Talking about the training courses syllabus. So if you can see, this is the courses and syllabus is there. You were asking that, correct?
Correct.
What? Yeah. So basically, we are going with this course itself only. Introduction. Then section two is basically nothing but all the API environment that we are using here. Then section three is open specify API specification, creating API proxies, how to create all those things, then how to invoke that APIs in the details, then how to do the transformation, then routing, error handling, how to do the packagings, all those APIs, and then traffic management. Basically, right now, how we'll just monitor the APIs, rate plans, and customizations, all this that things we'll see here. And there is one more thing that we'll see how to manage the products. Basically, how to give the republish the product and every life cycle of product, and then this is how to do the API analytics, the whole task. Okay, so we'll cover all the policies transformation in this section. We'll also do invoke the policy and implementation in these sections. Okay, now let's do one thing here. Let's go with that. What is a provider organization that we have yesterday? So you have heard about the what is a you just know that what is provider organization, what is consumer organization, that we have yesterday we discussed, correct? What is API manager and all those things. Broadly, we discuss all those things. Okay, now we'll discuss today what is the catalog. Okay, so now what do you understand about the catalog?
Yeah, it's a kind of administrator part, deployment part.
Correct. Basically, it is nothing but the deployment things. Okay. Where my whatever the APIs that I have created, I can just delete that. I can just create a APIs and just I publish the APIs on the product, and that product whatever I have done, I deploy that product. Basically, I publish that product on this catalog. Okay. So this catalog is nothing but the runtime environment it is providing me. Like in Java, we have a runtime environments, JRE,
Yeah.
Java runtime. The similar that it is providing me a runtime environments. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, what I'll do when you create this API organizations, all this thing by default you get one catalog that is sandbox. That's catalog name is sandbox that runtime environments. And what you can do, you can just create this sandbox and all this thing basis on your this catalog basis on your the requirements. Okay, so how many catalogs that you want to create, that is basis on your requirements. Okay, that they have a development catalog, so you will just assign this development to all the developers. They will do the developments, publish the APIs. You have a UAT catalogs where you will do all the UAT deployment of the UAT's APIs, where the customer will do the UAT's things. Okay, how to create that catalog? There are two ways to create these catalogs. One is that option that is creating the catalog, and the another option is inviting the catalog owners to create that catalogs. Okay, so I'll just go with the first option, that is how to create the catalog, where first I have to select the users, that is user registry, that is the same user that I have used option, that is my user ID. Okay, and I'll
Mhm.
just give the catalog name here is a developer, and I'll just do the create the catalog for me. Okay, now it has done, it has created the catalog for me, where I can just see all the consumption, application, subscription, task, models, and everything I can just see here. Okay, now the more important things, when you click on the catalog settings, this is the major important where you do all the settings with that catalog. And if you can see here, this catalog is associated with one of the gateway service, that is data power. So this is the major important part here. Now
Mhm.
any catalog without this data power is like nothing. Basically, you cannot do anything, so you have to associate your catalog with some gateways. Okay, where this catalog will run, where this policy will be evaluated using this gateway itself. Okay, now this is currently connected with data power API gateway. Okay, we have two gateways, one is that data power gateways and one is the data power API gateways. So right now this is added with the data power API gateway. The data power gateways that we use earlier versions, basically when we go with the v5 versions, and that where we are using that right now, it's a v API gateway. It's a cloud gateway basically, where all the if you do all this thing right now, we are doing this cloud thing, so it is providing me more features, more policies, more evaluations, but all the things that we have added here. Okay, so right now we are working on the API gate connect version 10. So version 10 is also a cloud version, so because it is running on the gateway but it is also on the cloud, so it's data power API gateway, that is associated with that one thing. Okay, each catalog right now you are seeing has their own portals basically. Okay, and each portal is basically nothing but where you just you need to create the portal first, because that catalog portal. Okay, this is by default that I have created. Okay, when you create a new catalog, any other things, so that you need to create it. This is the catalog portal URL where you can just click on that. Okay, copy this URL and just paste that. You will see that whole developer portals. Okay, portal, I just explain, what is the portal means. That portal where all the products that you have deployed. So all the product that is in this catalog that you can list here, okay, all the products you can see in this developer portals. Okay, and there are multiple things in this, like catalog properties that you create. This is the properties where you define the your user defined properties, like any environments, any URLs that you change basis on your deployments types when you do the deployments of the APIs. Okay, so some user defined properties that you are doing in that, that IV, that there is a UDP properties that we defined, there is a property file that we are using. So okay, so all this configuration, user defined things, server related things, all that we do here. Okay, in this user defined properties, all the client related TLS profile that I have yesterday I shown you. Okay, that you just define here. OAuth related providers that you need to create here in this catalog. So catalog is basically where you just manages the whole API life cycles. Okay, where you deploy the APIs, you consume, you create the consumers there, you create the applications apps there, you subscribe to the application, you can monitor the analytics. Each developer catalog is having all these things. Okay, the one important part, that is, it is also giving you spaces. What is the spaces? We'll cover in the next class. The spaces is a very good thing in that catalog actually. It's basically logical partitioning in the catalog itself. Okay, so I'll cover in this next step when we'll cover the spaces on that. Okay, and one more thing, that is governance. Basically API governance is the major important rule, that basically when you, as you are also working in a bank organization, there is a infosec organization, info security organization are there. So they also ask you to apply some rules, some policies, some sets, some that, because their API cannot be breached. Okay, and it should pass all this governance API rule sets that we define into that. So that is a important thing that they have added there in the governance. Okay, now members is nothing but where we do add the members, where we delete them, provide the roles to that members, basically that administrator, API administrator, where we adding the members to that developer sandbox catalogs. Okay, any catalog that you just created. So this is how that we do it. Okay, now another option is that how to create. That's one option, that you just go and create that the catalog. Then another option
Uh,
is that basically invoice the
because
catalog.
because 1 minute. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. See, where you say the catalog properties, can you go to the catalog properties? Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go here, you are talking many things here, right? Catalog properties, how to create catalogs and all. Can we create right now, like whatever we are speaking, like we will
No, no, that
go a
that
flow,
we
like.
that we yeah, that the whole, this whole things, if you can see, we'll cover in this next step, sir. With that, just giving you as a right now, it's AI environments here. Okay,
Mhm. Okay, fine.
just, yeah, that's the thing. Basically, you will see these things, this properties, this part in any of these sections itself only. Right now, what you are seeing here is the API environments. I'm
Mhm.
just I'm just familiarizing you with all these things,
Yeah,
environments
yeah,
part.
I got it. Because my view is like whatever we are speaking, right? We are on the flow. If you create it, will be
Huh?
more understandable. That's why I raised it.
Acha, acha. You okay? So in that case, I need to jump from some. If I'm just giving, I need to jump to another section. Then you need the one. That's why it's not a problem. You will able to understand when I'll just create any other services, any backend services, anything that I will do. Now, I'll just guide you how to create the properties and all these things. It's
Okay,
not a
okay,
very big deal. It's a very like, because I'll just create it. Now when I have to use it, first I have to guide it ki how to use that catalog properties. When you click on the catalog properties, it is asking me that name of the properties. It is nothing right like a key value pairs. Okay, I have to just give any key. I am just giving you, suppose a prod URL. This is my one any backend URL. I'm just giving that Pfizer prod URL. Okay, Pfizer is a backend system. I'm just taking it as a URL, and whatever the values that I just provide here, the URL values. Okay, so what will happen here, this key value pair I can use in that API itself. And where I will just use this APIs, when I'll go in the APIs demo
Mhm.
APIs. Okay, in the demo, when I'll just use that gateway services. Okay, here it will ask me, when I'll just click on the
Okay, okay.
invoke, here it is asking
Got
me.
it. Because yeah,
Yeah.
I got it, got it.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So basically, when we'll just do this exercise, then I'll just inform you. Okay, we have already seen that how to create the catalog options, that catalog property. So that will create there and we'll use here. This is the way that we have to use that. That is a target URL. So whatever
Fine,
that.
fine. Because you continue.
Okay, okay, yeah, great. So this is okay. Now where we at?
We are in catalog. We just created the catalog.
I just created the catalog here. Okay. Okay, so when you create on the developers this developer catalog, so this options that you can right now see here, these are the properties and settings. Okay, all these options that right now you can see, and analytics dashboard I already shown you. Okay, now another way to create the catalog is to invite a catalog owners. Okay, so basically what I'll do here, I'll just send you the invite and you will receive the invite. Okay, and you can just basically a new link will be activated. So I wanted your ID. Can you just give me your ID or your user ID? Basically I'm inviting a person who can just create a catalog. Okay, so now if you'll see here, it is asking me, okay, you can just sign up here, you can just create a catalog. Okay, I'll just give a catalog name as dev. Okay, I'll just create it and just giving this is for development purpose.
Mhm.
Okay, now I'll do here, I'll just do the sign up. Okay, but uh, basically it is asking me your ID and password, because you I am using your ID. This ID login have been created, so you have to provide your ID, then you have to create the continue, then you have to provide the password, then you will able to create the catalog for the same. Okay, so right now it is not able to we I'm not able to create because I don't know your password. I just have given you the invitations. Okay, I've just given you the invitation, you can just click on that link. Have you received that invitation on your Gmail ID?
Yes, yes, I have received.
Okay, you have received. Then I can we can just see here from here if you have created that. Are you sure you have created? Because
I
not able to
created, but
see.
again it is asking for user ID and password.
How you just log in it on the same invitation link that you have created?
Yes,
Because I can see here developer only.
yeah,
What ID that
it's
you have
only
created? Developer only or something else?
developer underscore one.
Developer underscore one. Okay.
Yeah,
It should come here. This one. No, this came. It's taking time actually. This one you have created, correct?
sure. Yeah, yeah,
Can you see my screen?
yes, yes, I can see. Same thing. This is I created it.
Okay. Now, right now, if you can create it. So this is the way that I'm just showing you how to create the developer this portal and environments. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
next come to that another one that is
But why I cannot see that in my catalog?
no, no, why you, because I have given you the invitations to create the catalog for you, not for your in your provider organizations.
Okay, okay, for your okay, I got it.
Yeah, got it. You created for me as an invitation to create it for me for that things. Okay, you
Okay,
will not see in
you are
your.
it's basically you are a administrator and I am the developer and you shared me the link.
Yes,
So
yes,
based on my requirement, I created.
correct, that's it, that's correct. Okay, this one you have created. Okay, now what we'll do here, okay, that catalogs is nothing but just to show you how to manage all this. That is nothing, these things. What are the part of these things, we'll see it when we'll come on the other lectures. Okay, when we see other lectures. Next,
Mhm.
go to the spaces. What is a space here? So space, have you heard about this? What do you mean by, like, what have you know what is space?
No, no, I don't have any idea.
Okay, now give me that. Okay, so space is basically you can just say a logical separation, basically in the partitioning in the catalog itself. So basically, you are just creating a your developed whatever developer the catalog that you have created right now. In the catalog itself, you have dividing your two spaces, so that two developers, that app developers, anyone can work on that things. Okay, so that is a basically logical space. I'll give you the example how it basically working. So if you can see in this example, there is one app developer, there is another app developer. Okay, he's working on all the credit card API products, and this one app is working on loan API products. But they have one environments right now, that is a developer catalog. You have developer catalog. Okay, so in similar catalog you have provided her two spaces to them. He will work in this credit card space, and the another user will work on the loan space in the same developer catalog. So basically you have logically partitioned that whole catalog into two parts. One is that users do all the credit card activities, you does. In this developer, in this catalog itself, he'll just create their own space where he can just manage his own all the APIs, products and everything. And this developer can manage all the API developer in this loan space. Okay, and the whole developer
Yeah.
catalog, the whole spaces that you will publish on the same portal. That we have one portal that we will just publish all these things. Okay, so when you just so right now, if you can see, this is a developer invite that we have one, that your developer one that invite that one catalog that you have created. I can see there is a space option, correct? So what we'll do
Yeah.
first, we'll create the space in this one only. Okay, enable space, you have to first enable the space on that same. So one space that will be automatically created by default for you, that is developer invite space. Okay, it is giving you one space that is by default created for you. Okay, what, I'll just click on this developer invite space, and here you can do the same thing. Whatever the, basically it is logically separated from one space to another space. Okay, so we'll click on this developer invite space. I can see spaces here. One is that developer invites. I'll just add one more uh, space here, that is nothing but loan space. Okay, so one is now loan space, and one is, I'll create one more that is for card space, at the similar way that we can use here, that the similar way invite also. Okay, now you have these two spaces right now. Okay, so what developers can work here, how they will work, they can, all the developers right now who is working on the credit card space and the similar developer portal, he can work on this space on their area, where he can just manage the same API set of APIs. Okay, he can work on the same set of APIs in their API space, and the similar API space he can work on their API space. Okay, so basically it is providing a separation to two developers. Okay, so they can start utilizing the same catalog, because when you are working in a industries, you will not create multiple catalogs. You have to associate this with the catalog with the data power gateways. Okay, so you don't will create multiple catalogs, multiple things here. So what you do here, you just divide the catalog into the spaces, and you just give these spaces to each developers. Okay, and developers can work on this catalog spaces itself. Okay, so now when you click on this credit card space services, there's no any gateway services right now. Okay, because you have not attached that gateway services to them. So you have to click on the edit. The first thing that you need to do, you have to add the data power gateway service and just save it. Okay, so now this space is now usable right now, because until that there is no any use of this space, because there is no any gateway associated with that with the space. Okay, similar, you have to do this for another space, that is another one, that is loan space. If you can see on the loan space also, when you click on the gateway services, then there is no any gateway services enabled. You need to click first enable that services, and then you can use it. So this is the way how space is basically working. Okay, any questions, any doubt?
No, no, I'm fine.
So you want to create, it's okay, we can go ahead.
Can I
You
share my
also want to
screen?
create at your side, that you can also do it, because I just, because I'm saying you will have a familiar with this whole options and all. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's okay. Now so whatever you are doing now, if you can see here, this option that you are right now choosing, create API
Okay.
proxies. If you can
Mm-hmm.
see,
Okay.
these many, created from target services, created for existing open API services. I have given you another session on that, like everything that you will have all on these things. Okay, what is, I'll just explain you what is open API specification version 3, that you are open API 2.0, 3.0. What is this
Yeah, yeah.
basically? Yeah, so that whole things that we will cover here, how to create with 2.0, 3.0, create new API using, create using visual, that was also options, create the visual services, creating from existing visual services, all these things. Yeah, let me
Mm-hmm.
familiar with this environment, like what we are doing right now, because this whole thing will do now and this publish on this environment itself. Okay, so the next step is space that we have covered. Okay, how to create it a space, logical separations and everything. Okay, now we'll go with the next option, that is uh, rules to that. Okay, let's see this, how to add a member to the provider organizations. Okay, so basically there are two ways to add the members. First is that to invite the members. Okay, basically to I'll just invite that members. You can just click on that link and we can just proceed ahead for that thing. And one is that add the members directly, where you just have to select the user registry and just use the existing user or and assign the roles and click on the add or buttons on that same itself. Okay, what we'll do here, we'll go to the provider organization in that. Okay, okay, so what we'll do here, we'll go on that members. Okay, now you know how to create the members here, how to add the members to the roles to them. So we'll just click here, add invite member. Okay, can you give me your ID?
NIRANJAN,
NIRANJN
RAJU
RAJU
7
at the sorry
7 yeah, 7
7.
at the rate gmail.com.
Okay, so now what I'll do here, I'll just give you a developer role. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, now I'll just send you the invite.
Okay, I need to add now.
You need to just add, so you can just see at your end also. This is the activation link. I can also open it, but you just open it at your end. So if you can
Activation
see
link,
here,
it will come like this.
show me.
1 second.
Yeah, so I just want to show you, I have added you in this my list. So if you can see in this provider organization, I have added you as a Niranjan user. I can just see here right now. If you can see here, it is pending state. Okay, both are enabled, it is pending state because you have not enabled it at your ends. Okay, when you will just do the enable and then a link on that, just log in it, then it will be get enabled at my end also. Okay, yeah,
Yes, this
this
is
is
fine.
added. Correct,
Yeah, enabled. Yeah, added.
it is enabled.
Yeah, enabled, right?
Okay, great. Now I'll just check.
API administrator, community manager, developer, viewer state. So viewer means it's a read-only permission. If we give this
It's a read
permission,
only. It will not have anything. Okay, it will not have
okay,
any access anything, right? Like, whatever the option that you are seeing right now, add everywhere in in each part. It's like in each what we can say design parts,
check
like
boxes, check boxes.
all this thing that will not having. Now I'll just show you one minute. So right
Okay.
now, if you can see here,
Yeah, I
if you
can
can
see.
see, it is now enabled.
Okay, you have given only for developer.
Yeah, I have given you for the developers, but you are at your system, you are like because you are running is the same IDs actually right now for you.
Uh-huh.
But for
Yeah.
me, you are as a developer. I have added you as a developer role in my provider organizations.
Okay. Okay.
In my provider organizations, I have added you as a developer. So when you going to log in using this IBM ID and all, you can do the stuff whatever the developer has the permissions. So when we'll go on the roles here, on the roles, so developer has having this many roles, this many tasks they can do it.
Okay.
So members he can just view it, setting he can just view it, topology he can just all the product related things he can do all these things, like he can update because members developers who can just create the APIs, do the products, do the publish on the product, all this. Consumer he cannot do it because consumer is the main things that we create the consumers. Okay, so that is the view part that he can just view it. He cannot create it that the consumer. So these are
Yeah.
the roles developers. If you can see roles for the viewer, everything is view only.
Yeah, just read only.
Just read only, everything view. So in case now when you log in with the view only users now, all this option that you're seeing, add, this will not happen, this will not show you this boxes, this add
Okay.
boxes, because you don't have any permission. You cannot add, manage catalogs, you cannot create APIs, you can just view that APIs, you cannot create that APIs. All this option will be disabled for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Another account. This is only for view.
oh yeah, so if you can see there is no any option for create and all. correct?
Yeah. Only enable only viewer I have given.
Yeah, only viewer has given, and you log in using this itself only. So if you can have see,
Itself.
there is no any option for in members at the at 1 minute. Okay, yeah. So in the members, there is no any option to add and delete and everything. That option is not coming. Okay,
Yeah, not coming here.
yeah. And when you click on the API itself, sorry, you can click on the pencil dots. Click on the pencil dots. Not here, not here. In the right side corner, in the left hand side corner. Sorry, no, not here, not here. In the left hand side, my yeah. Just click there. Okay, yeah,
Okay, this is all. Okay,
yeah,
one
okay.
thing. You said that you have given me a permission as only for developer, right?
Yeah.
This ID, but I can see all the accesses.
That's the reason what I'm trying to say, because maybe you have modified or somewhere, or it's getting modified.
Yeah, I can do the modify as well because since I'm not a main organization owner, I did like this.
Because no, that's the reason I'm saying the IDs that you have given me right now. This
Uh,
ID, using this ID, there is another provider organization itself is running. You also as a provider organization for this itself, correct? If you can see there,
yeah, yeah,
and you are
correct.
the administrator for these things, so you can do all this stuff. You can modify this thing. Okay, so what I did in my thing, you are the admin only, you are the administrator, you can just as a developer, so you can do and modify this whatever that view manage and products that you can create it at your sites. Okay,
Okay,
right
that's
now,
fine.
okay, which ID that you log in right now?
This is for this ID. This screen is
Niranjan
for
one.
this one. Yeah,
In this,
and this one is for
this
this
is
one.
your own, this is your own ID. Okay,
Yeah.
now I just wanted to show you, when you click on that using that Niranjan one, that above IDs, you just able, you cannot do all the stuff, you can just only view it, you can just check that APIs, you cannot do modification in that. Even that APIs you can also create. There is an add option is coming. Okay, even this is also not coming when you just click on the view option. This is because you have created using that one, using your IDs. Niranjan, just click on the NM option, that is 28 trial, this option coming now, 28 days trial, 28 days
This
trial. I
one.
just click on there. Just click on there. Just click on the NM option. Not on that. Just Niranjan that is showing na, that goal.
Okay,
Just click on
okay,
that. Yeah. Here, if you can see, you are user as an instance owner using this right now. So you have the access, and this is the same ID you have given to me also. And there is one more provider organization running on that. But for me, you are as a developer in my system. Okay. But you,
mhm,
as a your organization, you have that access to modify all the states. That's why you did it actually.
okay, okay.
Issues and any doubt in members, how to create member, add member, giving the roles and everything, that will cover again later in that deep all these
Yeah.
things.
Now it's fine. So far it's fine. Maybe
Okay,
in future I may ask you many
okay,
questions.
okay, no worries. Yeah, when you do, you I just you just do it practice at your end itself, and you just log in, create members, and create, just view it, just check that what are the roles that are defined for other API administrator, API community managers, all these things you can just check on that. Okay,
Mhm.
uh okay, next I'll just share my screen. So
Okay,
provider
okay,
organization I have already explained you. Now what is the consumer? So provider is nothing but which is providing the APIs to you, where you just create the APIs and make it available for the consumers. Now how the consumers can consume that APIs? So they can just go to create the consumer, they can log into that API portal and just subscribe to that APIs. So similar, I just wanted to show you using the Twitter example. I'll just click on the Twitter, there are plans like how many tweets I can do, and click on the one basic plans, and then they will charge me that amount, that much amount will be charged for you for the everyday's hits and how much tweet that you will do it. Okay, so similar products that we can do it on the same way here. Okay,
okay, okay,
we'll just see how to create consumer, what is developer portal, how to create the account in the developer portal, how to create app in developer portal, and how to create the API gateways. Yeah, what is the API gateways in that we have. Okay, what is this provider organization is one where APIs are getting the produced. Okay, so right now whatever you are seeing is in your screen. Where is that? Yeah. this whole thing right now, whatever that you are going to seeing here, this is your provider organizations. Okay, this is whatever that you right now see here, this whole
Mhm.
thing as a API manager. But when you create a APIs console, that you created that APIs, correct? You create, how you created, you just created a, you just taken an instance of the AWS, okay, software as a
Mhm.
services, and you
Yeah.
created one API. So there will be one owner is assigned, and that owner is basically who is that owning that whole provider organization, who is giving that you the whole APIs, where you can manage APIs, you can publish APIs, you can deprecate that APIs. Okay,
Mhm.
so this provider organization is nothing but publishing the products containing inside that APIs, that we can do it. Manage the life cycle of the APIs, manage the members in the provider organizations. Okay, so I'll just show you one by one what is this in there in that provider organization. So when you click on this APIs, okay, API product, so there is a, when you click on that. Okay, so when you just click here members, so if you can see, uh this is the owner of this provider organization. So because you created this service as a API Connect SaaS service account module, so right now this is the organization owner who has created that APIs. Okay, and I am creating as an instance of my API. So I am right now I am as an administrator for that APIs. Okay, later
Mhm.
on, if you want to create okay, if you want to create any roles, any further roles, that who can view your APIs, who can manage your APIs, you can all this thing, we'll see all this role based model later on. Okay, this
Mhm.
is part of
Okay.
your curriculum. So you just invite a member, you can add a members later on, just if you want to add any other roles and all this thing, because you belong
Okay.
to the admin part, so you know all this thing already, that how
Yeah.
administrator, what is the difference, community manager, developers, viewers, all this thing.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is a role based assigning. So this provider organization is basically to manage, provide the members organizations. It also provides you the products, where you just create the sandbox and catalogs where you publish the products basically. And it also, the whole thing right now, what that you are right now saying is basically nothing but is that your organization itself. So when you just click on this, and when you just go to the catalog settings, so here now you can see that who is the owner of that APIs overview. So here's all the summaries. It is basically, it is giving you this is the catalog that we have defined here. This is the owner of this API is basically that I have created that API. So I have, as an instance of that, so that it is showing as my name. Okay, and whole right now whatever that currently you are saying, this is the provider organizations. Okay, let me go ahead. uh and user, whatever that user that I can just create, that can be
So,
multiple provider organizations, it can be part of the multiple organizations. Okay, so whenever you see in API console, that whole thing is a part of the API provider organization itself. Okay, now what is the role based here for the organizations that we are right now is saying is that owner role, developer role, admin administrator role, community manager role, administrator role, viewer role. Owner, who have access the all the APIs, basically who can access the all the role, basic whatever defined in that APIs actually. Okay, so let me just show you 1 minute. So now if you can see in this API Connect things now, so if you can, I just told you the organization. So right now, we are in this organization, API Connect VY. That
yeah.
organization that you were right now, where you were creating that, I just asked you, you can create an instance name. So basically,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
the instance name that you are given, that is basically it is created organization names here. And
Mhm.
who is the owner of this organization? This is that we have connected using the SaaS IBM, so that it is basically he is the owner of this organization. That whole things. Okay,
Okay.
and onboardings, basically we defined the onboardings there, what are that we will see later, what onboard is it. Now role based things, what are the role that we have designed. So right now we are discussing like the slide. Can you see this slide, owner or
Yeah. Yeah.
developer? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So all these owners are defined here, these are the developers. Okay, what developers can do, what developers can see, this are the roles that are defined. Members, so basically when you create the members as a developer member, so he can just view that setting, he can view that. Okay, product approval, he can do all this thing because he is basically developing those all things, so he can view, publish, sublet, all this thing. So these are the different role based developers that we have, I have given in the slide itself. Developer who is responsible for creating that APIs. Owner is the owning, basically he's having the all the access, he's owning the all access. Basically he can just, he's owner of that organizations. Okay, so you can see when you just click on this, each and every role based API administrator is there. Okay, there is community manager is there. Okay, okay, who's managing the all the developer communities, so what they can communicate, do all this, and all this we'll see later how we can just give a role based assignment to each members that we add and new members. Okay, so this is the administrator who can just mostly administrator and owner has a similar all the set of permissions, everything they have. Okay, viewers will have only that view permissions, but he can just view all these things like API logs, production, subscriptions, settings, drafts, and everything. Okay, so this whole thing that right now you are saying, it's a provider organization, part of that organization. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so let's go here in this slide itself. So based on the need, company create one or more provider organizations, because it's up to you. So most of the companies, what they are doing, they don't have the environment. So what they are doing, so they are creating like a pre-prod environment or CUG environment. So they are creating a CUG as a provider organizations. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
where they are deploying all these APIs, whatever they are doing in developer organizations, then that there is creating a CUG organizations where they are doing all the CUG related stuffs. Okay, all the production related before uh,
Yeah, definitely it would be there for every organization.
sorry,
Without, yeah, definitely it would be there, right, for any organization.
every
It is a
organization,
process.
they yeah. So we'll, when, because this is the we are right now doing as a demo, but if you can just see as a proper in a system, and where you just in organization, so you will see the
Mm-hmm.
proper organization based divide, the roles are there. So
Yeah,
for developers, they have given the different organizations provide multiple organizations they create. For developer, you use this, and they have give designed the roles also there. Like so I'll just give you example. I am working as a team, and I can just create APIs, but I don't have authority to publish that APIs, because if I started publishing, I can do anything in the changes. So
yeah,
the publishing of that APIs and then approving of that APIs, that will have only the managers or approval or leader. Okay, that who can
yeah,
just see that whatever you have developed, is that correct or not. And after you will build that things correct, you will have to you will just check that codes, that every schemas and JSON
yeah,
schemas and whatever that schemas that you are designing,
yeah,
securities,
yeah.
everything are correct or
Got
not.
correct, correct, got it.
So that's the whole thing that we use this role based things. Okay, now going
Yeah,
to that API managers. Okay, now
yeah.
what is the API?
One thing. When we are going to implement all these things, we will
Yeah,
also maintain same three environments. Okay, like SIT, UAT, pre-production, production. We will maintain like that, and then we'll go one by one. Is it fine?
hi, we can go that, that's not the issue. Okay,
Yeah, as you said,
so
like
because
multiple organizations.
because deployment and stuff, it's a part of as a DevOps pipelines basically. Basically we create a DevOps CI/CD pipelines here. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, that is again
so basically that we will
organization
create
to
the
organization
organization, that is not
depends.
the different thing. That organization is nothing but it's not a you can just create another instance and launch this as a the CUG in organization. That is
Okay,
the difference only. It's
okay,
not
okay.
like because or whatever the organization that we created right now, na, I have created that is as a developer organization, and this developer I can just create the different roles. Okay, now depends upon the organization, they will create another organization. Okay, now inside the organizations, what companies are doing, they're creating a catalogs is nothing but the environments, sandbox environments, development environments, QA environments, like that. There are the environments. Okay, organizations, why they are creating a more organizations, some partners, some channel things, they want their services in a different work in a different ways. Like uh, I'll just give you example, something some what is happening sometimes. Some partners are doing testing and they are very critical to that banks. Okay, and this is internal to the bank, they are very critical, they every time do the load testing. So what we create another organization itself. You just take this organization itself, that inside that organizations you will have a separate catalogs, sandbox catalog, developer catalogs, and QA catalogs. So depends upon the organization, they create the multiple organizations here, provider organizations. Okay, we'll see what is the consumer organizations also. There are provider organizations, there are consumer organizations. Consumer is nothing where you consume that APIs, whatever that you have created, the consumers can come and then consume that APIs. The similar we have set up provider organizations also, where you provide that APIs functionality features, so that developers role based systems that you define, so anyone can develop that APIs. Okay, so this is the whole thing that I just the same thing I have just explained you. Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So let's go to the what is API manager basically. So I'll just brief you about that API manager is here. So right now, this provider organization, right now, whatever that screen that you are seeing here, it's
Mhm.
basically nothing but the API manager. Okay.
Okay.
So where we can just, I can just manage my APIs, I can just create my APIs, I can just create my products, I can just view the analytics dashboard, I can just view the logs and everything, where I can just see all these are the my API managers. Okay. So if you can see, it provides a full life cycle management capabilities using API manager UI. That right now that you are currently seeing this UI tool actually. So using API manager UI, you can just create APIs, organize APIs, publish APIs, all these things that they have mentioned here. Okay. It's a part of the provider organization where developers create the APIs and products. Okay. So basically, I said just say that organizations provide the API managers. Okay. Organization provide the API managers where you can manage whole life cycle of that APIs. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, API manager has capability to control the consumer organizations also. Okay. Now, what is a consumer organization? So when you just click on the sandbox and just, I'll just show you later on, we'll just how to create the consumer thing. So this is a consumer where we create the consumer organizations. Okay. Where we create the applications, subscriptions model. Okay. So these are the API managers who basically provides you the consumers. Okay. To consume that things, all the consumers that you will consume their APIs. Okay. uh, Consumer organization is one where application developer access use the APIs needed for them. Okay. Is nothing but that where all the applications, like whatever that when you create the consumer organization, and after that you need to create the applications, apps that you need to deploy. Okay. We'll see that how to create the applications. Okay. And how this all will be linked when you create one APIs we published on the product, and when we'll see how it is working. Okay. uh, I'll just another view. Okay, now how this API is creating. So this is API tool. Here you can just click on that, and you can just click on the APIs things. And when you click on that APIs part, you can just select the which APIs that you want. Okay, so Open API 2.0 or Open API 3.0. Okay, I'll just check. I guess Open API 3.0 is covered in your curriculum or not. Okay, I'll just check and I'll explain. I'll just check and confirm you. Okay, or I can guide you also.
What is the
So
difference?
differences, some changes in the API specification structures they have created. Okay, so when you creating that API, so the schemas model that you design, okay, the securities model that you design, the basically that components that you were designing there, that is the only difference only. That is not, that is more easier than 3.0 Open API specifications. Okay, the changes in the YAML files only. Okay, so
Currently,
mostly
which version are you using?
mostly we are going with right now as a industries. Open API 3.0 is not very stable right now, so we are going with
Mhm.
2.0 itself only. Okay,
Okay.
some issues sometimes. What is, I'll just tell you what is happening. Like this IBM products are there, so they, if you'll go with the 3.0, and I just launch in my application itself, and there are some bugs fixes that we need to do. And that in that case, I'm using 3.0, then IBM frequently asks me, oh, you are using 3.0, there is one bug, you just have to install that, you have to upgrade that thing. So, okay, I will install the patches. So I don't want all this thing right now in the production why we have developed. So basically right now in the industries, everyone using this Open API 2.0 everywhere. In my organization itself, because I'm working in the bank itself, and mostly we develop APIs in 2.0 itself right now.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, that's not the issue, that you can go with that later on. That's 2.0 is will be decommissioned, then we will move to 3.0 itself. Okay, so that's
Mhm.
evaluation that will go on, and we'll check that some small changes that we can see there. Okay, so we'll see how to create the API. So these are the method that how you could just create all these APIs using existing Open API specification. If you have any swaggers, if you can use that here. Okay, you can just create a using a. Have you heard about this GraphQL? I don't. I need to check that it is in curriculum or not.
No, no.
So I don't. I guess it is not there. Okay, this is separate actually things. GraphQL thing. Okay, if you have any SOAP WSDL format, you can just directly export that API SOAP WSDL from here. So okay, if you have any WSDL services, you want to use a SOAP WSDL service, not as a SOAP service, you want to use as a REST, as a gateway mode, as a proxy mode, then you can export it here. Okay, so there are multiple ways that we can use. We will see one by one each and every specification. We'll take one swagger, we import it, and we'll just check that how it is working. Then I just explain you what is the product. Now when you click on the product, so product is nothing but, as a, I just explained you in earlier, it is a collection and set of APIs basically. So it consists of multiple APIs where you club together and deploy in the single APIs. Okay, so all this API that we creating, we have to design one product. Okay, so product, either you create a new product, or when you are already having existing product, that you can select existing product. Okay, and you just do all this thing, that publishing all the product, plan on the product, so that you create on the same itself here. Okay, so when you will just click on the next, it will ask you all the information and details. Okay, basically you have to provide the name, titles, and all these things, and these all are industry standards. So when you are creating the names, it cannot be any names, because product is nothing but that is visible to the developer portals, product that is visible to the, so those all will come from the business standards. This will be the product name, credit card product. So right, if you can see my screen there, and when I just show you access that, so they have given the product credit card UPI. So this is the product that categorization of APIs that is given by the business standards only. You just categorize this APIs in itself. Okay, so this is one thing, that's product actually. Okay, you create the products, then you, once you have created that APIs and all. Okay, this is the testing environment that they are adding, this one additional features that initially it was not there. They have added a test suits also. You can create a test suits and add and just check that APIs. Okay, so this is the different thing, there's additional features that they have provided. Okay, so here is nothing but this is basically providing you the whole API management and everything. There's a test tool is there. The main part that we have to see here, this is the catalog where you deploy your APIs in bar, where in App Connect you heard about that brokers right now. Okay, right now we can deploy in App Connect. There is no concept of brokers. We can deploy this everything in standalone EGs. There's a container services. So here in this API management, there is a catalog. A catalog is nothing but it's a collection of API product. So now there is APIs. This set all these API we group together. Will publish that API to product, and that product, whatever that we have created, that will be associated with the catalog. Okay, so you, whatever the product that you have created, you have to associate it with the catalog. This is your runtime environment providing. Okay, so right now by default sandbox catalogs that I have just said, by default sandbox catalogs is given. You can create another catalog also. Okay, you can create a new catalog from here. You can just define this is sandbox catalog. I can create another catalog as a QA catalog, that is quality assurance catalog. Another, I just create a developer catalog where I'll just do the all developer related stuff, and then another I'll just deploy another, create a UAT catalog. Okay, where I will deploy my service as a UAT one. Okay, so I can use this whole thing as a UAT services. So there, this is nothing but where you just manages your services, you create a catalog, you deploy your products. Okay, then this is coming as a interesting things. Basically, what is registries that you had using that resources where we define the basically creating the user registries that LDAP configurations, anything that you want to use in your APIs. Okay, we crypto material is nothing but that they have added newly. Okay, so this is the new functionality that they have added there, where you just manage your client certificate and trust certificate. Yeah, that configuration that you do. So any backend communication that you want to communicate with that systems. Okay, and that is a mutual TLS, MTLS, or that is a secure certificate, SSL certificate, like secure. So we need to add their certificate in our trust stores and key stores. So basically this is a client profile, basically client profile, TLS client profile that you need to create here, and where you will add a key store and trust store their certificates. Okay, key store will be your certificate, that self-signed certificate that you will use it. Trust store where you will add your trusted parties that you will add it. Okay, this is the whole where you create the multiple profiles basically. So when you create the key store, when you add that, then you create one client profile that you will use. Okay, so suppose like you as admin, you also managing the certificate and trust store and key store command, using that you just managing the certificates, correct, at your end itself. So similar way you need to manage here itself also. Any backend communication, that is a communication that you are doing. Suppose I'm just giving example, my backend system is who's managing the account, that is Finacle backend system. Okay, so basically it is doing all the Finacle related activities, and but that is a secure services that, so all the certificate configuration I will do here, and just create one client profile and use this client profile in each my API calls when I'm calling these APIs. So there is invoke proxy APIs that we are invoking, actually there is a call. Okay, and that where you just configure this client profile. Before that you have to provide all these things. Okay, OAuth provider, OAuth.
Yeah, I heard it this one, but don't have much details about this.
What is basically meaning of this OAuth actually? Like okay, you have
Authentication.
oh yeah, it's a basic authentication mechanism. Like it's a secure authentication. Like in so if you have seen here, when you log into the Stack Overflow websites,
Mm-hmm.
So Stack Overflow is asking you either you create a Stack Overflow ID, or if you have any Google ID, any Google
Mm-hmm.
ID, you can log in using that. Correct. So
Okay,
now
yeah.
what you are doing, you are basically, I just wanted to log into the Stack Overflow, and they are allowing me using my Google ID. So basically using Google, they are verifying my tokens. Basically OAuth is generating a token between the
Mm-hmm.
servers. They are identifying my token using the Google servers and authenticating using my token using that Google, and allowing me to use that Stack Overflow websites. So basically it is nothing but token exchange, where I'll call services, he will give me the token. That token has some validity, some session validity, and I in the all the APIs I can use this OAuth as an authentication mechanism. So have you, when you are using that APIs, so there is OAuth bearer token, if you heard about that, in header that we need to pass it, correct? So I need to pass that token every time. I validate that token. Step one is valid or not in this APIs. If that is
Mm-hmm.
valid, you are authenticated to use that APIs or not, basically that token actually. So that we
Mm-hmm.
use for as a session management in APIs. Okay. We'll give on we'll go on this depth on this OAuth token itself. We'll create one
Okay.
services. We'll create one OAuth providers actually. Okay, we can create OAuth provider using multiple ways based on client ID secrets, LDAP configurations, all these things, and we'll do this setup one exercise where we just call the OAuth. We'll give the token. We'll use this token to call another APIs. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
this
Okay.
thing I'll just show you in real time environments that which we have implemented in our in our environment also in this bank itself, where I am basically working, where
Okay.
we have to how to this token and everything is just getting to exchange. Okay. Now coming to this analytics dashboard, what is this
Analytics.
dashboard? Is nothing good. This is the very interesting things basically. So whatever that API loggings and everything, it is coming here. Okay. So the APIs that you have created. So in runtime, you want to see that how that API is behaving, what is the API is, what errors it is throwing, how many you are logging something, okay, any error codes and everything that logging info, everything that you can see in this analytics dashboard basically. So this is a good tool that IBM has given you. You don't have to go any separate other tools. Okay, you just configure basically internally. They have a algorithm, so they are consolidating all this thing from Logstash and Kibana, and that's just showing you a Kibana dashboard type, an analytics dashboard type, where you can just see all the logs. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
in the discover, you can just go and just select the particular APIs basically, and then you can just filter that APIs actually. So I just reset the filter, and basis on that APIs, you can just, because right now they have updated that whole options. Okay, so when you click on the filters, okay, so here you can just select like last request, how many last 30 days, and here you can just check the basis on which I want to apply that filter, like basis on API ID, API name, resource, API name,
Mm-hmm.
what is client ID, client credentials, everything that you can choose here. There are multiple things
Mm-hmm.
that you can. Okay, some
Okay.
parameters coming on the headers and API itself, some are the API names. Okay, so they have added there, so you can select that and you can just give this. Okay, that it's report. They have also added the new functionalities right in the current organization, because right now we are not using these things in the reports right in our organizations. Dashboard and discovers are there. Dashboard will give you the whole overview of that, how this API is bagging, how many APIs you have, and how it is working right now. Okay, you creating a APIs. Okay, so this adding a API is also will create a if you have a view only, you cannot select this options. You don't have this option will be disabled for you. Okay, and this is the part of the, I just said this is the part of the provider organization. When you click here, you can just see your instance name. This is the provider organization that is running right now. Okay, and this is your region. Basically this is giving me this full informations, nothing but that what in which region I have deployed the services. But this is your provider organization right now. Okay, and I am the owner of this organizations. Okay, so I will have all the access. Okay, so this is whole about this API managers, and this basically how this API manager, where you manage the APIs, where basically how what it is providing you, it is providing you to create and develop the APIs. It is providing you to test the APIs. it is providing you to manage the APIs, it is providing you to create any resources, user registries, OAuth, crypto materials like TLS configurations, analytics, whatever settings that you want to change, like role based setting I just given you. Okay, so you can add the permissions role based model also here, the notification settings related to that your API connect. Okay, so what we do here, we change the URL, we change the names, we change the analytics dashboard things, the how it will look like, anything additional that we need to check here. Okay, so that is not the major thing here. So majorly we'll focus on this API. Okay, when we create any API, so how many part of that what we can say, what are the palettes and everything's are there, that you can see when you click on that APIs. Okay, so I just right now I'll just create any APIs, just a random, I'll just give him one overview. So suppose if I'm just giving a API name as a demo. Okay, okay, so this base path is basically you are aware of this part, correct? Base path, URI, all these
Yeah,
things.
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I know.
So I'll just give any local target. It is asking me the target services. Okay. You need to provide which service that you want to invoke from here. So, okay. It is asking me the target URL that you are looking for. Okay. So I'll just right now use as a local. Later on, I can just override this URLs. Okay. So I'll just go here and just click on the next. Okay. Now the major component it is asking me. You want to secure your API using client ID. Okay. And there is a course. So basically course is nothing but the cross origin resource that we are looking like. I'll just give you example on how this course that we are enable in this APIs, how it is behaving, and how we, if we have origin cross origin that enable, so that API will work or not. So that is a separate topic itself. Okay, so that course will work on the separate topic itself. This securing this using a client ID, that is also separate topic, where we'll just show you how to secure that APIs. Here just I'm just showing you right now how the APIs that we are creating. Okay, so I'm just selecting right now. You can just right now deselect also, you can select this thing later on also. Okay, so now it is generating the APIs, applied the securities. Now I can just click on the edit APIs. You can see this APIs console. So right now I have one API, that is demo API. Okay, the version which is running right now is 1.0. I have created open API 2.0 versions. Okay, it is offering me the major three different components. Actually, these are the designing components right now, whatever you are seeing here. This is a design, that how you design that API is basically. Okay, in this there are multiple categories are there where you define your APIs. Okay, so in the general categories, it is asking you what will be the info. Here you will provide the info for that API, what this API basically is doing. Okay, that API name, versioning, everything that you have to give here, the descriptions and everything, that contact name, you are everything that, if you have any all these things, these are the optional things. If you have that all, mostly what we do here, we just provide the API descriptions. That is a very important. It's still optional, but we give this information, because we, any developers can come and just want to check what basically API is doing, so you can just go there and just check that. Okay, uh open API specification version, that is 2.0 that we are using right now. Host, that is also optional, that you provide or not. Okay, that the base path is nothing but is the base that you define. Okay, so for all the common set of APIs, I define this common base path. Okay, so my backend service is using Finacle, so I'll just use a Finacle base path here, and all my base path will be the common, that URI will be only the changes. Here you define the schemas list. Right now I'm using the HTTPS. Okay, it is giving me an option HTTPS schema that I'm using. I can use create the consumes also. Okay, consumers are that I will give you the each and every parts in the brief, like what that consume, what produce. Okay, that's an important part here. Securities, what is the security that we have right now? It's a client ID right now we are using, because we have secured that API using client ID. Okay, I right now, if I deleted that, it will just remove that APIs. Okay, now how, what is the option it is asking me? At least API should be secure using any one of the component that you are given here. Okay, so it is asking me to select again, I just add it. Okay, so this is that client ID security configurations. Just give me a minute. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Now go here, and this is the basically security schemas that I just discussed, how to create the C. So once you create the schemas, and that schemas that you link with the securities here. Okay. So when you click on this plus sign, it is asking you that how do you want to secure your API. There are, if you can see, this is option basic. Basic is nothing but user based and password based authentications. API is keys. Keys is nothing but that. That is the client ID, client secrets that we give that API. That is coming to the header part. And there is OAuth. Now, OAuth that we discussed here. So this three different way that we can secure my APIs. Okay, that basic APIs key other one. That depends upon your organization requirement, how you want to secure your APIs. Okay, okay. Mostly we go with that APIs key, and somewhere we require that OAuth, then we do the OAuth things also. Okay. So we'll see that each security steps. When we go on security part, then we'll do this. We'll check all these things. Okay, the basic securities and all. And there is a parts where you define operations, what this API is doing: create, update, delete, insert, whatever it is doing right now. Okay, so that you define the operations, what is basically operations of the APIs. Okay, so one is the base part and another is the part. Inside the part you need to define the definitions, you need to create the schemas, request schemas and response schemas, where what will be my, how my request structures will look like and how my response schema look like. Okay, that you whole thing you design. Once you will design this, then only you will have a YAMLs. Okay, so when you click on this API, if you can see here, everything is getting generated here in the format of the YAML itself. Okay, when you click here, if you can see that this is the source code, this is a YAML is getting generated. Okay, when I'll take this YAML and publish into the swagger.io editors, so it can just show me how this your APIs. This is your URL, this is your API request, this is my API response. So if you can see, this is API specification he has given you, and that same API specification I just publish on the product, and that product I can publish on the I just have a plans and I can just visible on the developer portal. So anyone just come here and just you can just click on this API. Oh, this is the request, this is the response. Okay, it's fulfill my requirement, I can consume this APIs. So this is the whole idea behind the developers portal. That's why the schema definitions is very important part of that APIs. So when you're developing APIs, you need to first develop the schemas, like what request and what response will be your schemas that you need to define. Okay, so that schemas define parameters. If any parameters that you are taking as a query parameters that you are defining, any changes that you are doing, that you need to define. You need to define the response definitions also, any response parameter, any response schemas that you are designing, that you have to give here. Okay, this is the whole part of the API designing, like how you are designing that APIs, the whole thing. Then coming to the gateway stuff, what is the gateway part? Okay, now I have that APIs. Okay, this is the source part. If I'll click on this form part, I can just see that UI part things here. Okay, so when you click on that, 1 minute. Okay, so when you click on the gateway itself, now, okay, so when you click on the gateway, it is giving you these are the built-in assemblies that I have right now. Okay, so now I have designed the APIs. Now what is my API is doing? It's a proxy APIs. I need to do something, I need to create. So these are the options there in the law. They have multiple sections assemblies in the app connect, like you have a palettes, like all the palettes are like all the M2 connectors, all the HTTP REST connectors, SAP
Yeah.
connectors, all this stuff. Similar, that have all these things, logics. This is the operational switch. So I just said, in the design part, when you have multiple operations are defined, okay, multiple paths are defined. So in which operation he has to switch, that operation switch that you have to apply here, that you have to select that operation switch. When you drag and drop that operation switch here, okay, when I just one demo, when you just drag and drop this operation switch, okay, so when you click on this add node, it is asking me that which operation path that you are defining. It is asking me which case that you are asking, get, put, matters, but that whole thing will be depend upon here itself in the design part. And you define here the operations, so that operation will be come here. So this is basically nothing but the operational switch. Okay, so Similar, this is a switch, the switch and operation switch. We'll see the late case study on that, say, in each pallets. Okay, switch is nothing but where you just define the you want to do any condition switch case basis. This is a switch case and this is the operational switch case. This is this both are different. The operational is nothing but basis on your operation it will categorize, and this switch is conditional based switch case that you applied on your APIs, some filtration that you want to do, then you will use that. It's a throw is nothing but if you have any purposely you want to throw any error to that APIs, okay, socket exception, any configuration related thing, any exception that you want to throw, that is. These are the actions related APIs that you will use at your end. GraphQL is not the right now. We are not going with that part. Okay. So these are the uh, actionable things that you do at your APIs. Invoke is the major thing that and this is by default, it is added in your APIs. It is nothing but which API you want to consume as a backend. So how industry usually follow the structures, they you go with the IBM API Connect, and then after that they are invoking ESB services itself only. Any ESB. So I'm just giving example of, right, I built that ESB in API Connect, App Connect. So I can just configure my App Connect URL here. And App Connect is basically now connecting to that Finacle services. And basically that connecting to any banking services, any outside world, anywhere that is connecting. Or you can directly connect it. That is not the issue. Either you are going with the App Connect or you can just directly call the backend services. Okay. If you are doing a massaging here in that itself. Okay. But you don't put any logics, you don't write any router, you just do here some simple computation, because gateway are not designed to have a heavy logics operations. They can just do small operations. That for that you need to build a simple ESBs in that case. If you do any computations, anything that you can, because it is not supported here. Okay. And this is also IBM gateway itself. So some of the security steps also we are not supported. So when you write something are supported in Java, so but that is not supported here. So you need, it's better you just invoke this from any other ESB services itself. Okay. This is the client security related things, JWT tokens that we manage, and all these things are there. Now here is the main concept that we use here: extract, JSON to XML, parsing that we are using, map, all these things that we have. Okay, XML to JSON that we need to do. Okay, Lambda. You heard about the Lambda functions?
Yeah,
AWS.
AWS Lambda. It's a
Yeah.
AWS function, right?
Yeah. So if you want to invoke any AWS Lambda function, you can invoke using API. This is the essentially they have added there this functionalities because we are
Yeah,
using AWS.
Lambda means it's a kind of LB, right? Load balancer.
No, it's not the load balancer. It's a asynchronous function. In Azure, you have a functions map, correct? In Azure, when you see a function, you can
Mhm.
invoke. Okay, so Lambda is separately totally different topic. In
Okay,
AWS.
okay, leave it, leave it.
It's a it's a purely different thing actually. It's a runnable component instance that is giving you any microservice that you create in your Java services, and then you can invoke using that thing. So it's a totally different things. But any services that is running in the Lambda and you want to invoke using that API itself, so you can do it then here. Okay. Watson, they have added client policy, they have added, mostly these are not we are using right now, we just go with that itself only. Okay. Okay. So okay, this is all how, and there one more thing, if you click on the show caches, so it will show me the all the caching related stuff also, like all the what are the caches that, so whatever throw that you defining, then you need to design the catch also. So, okay, so when you will add the catches, it will ask you which type of errors. I just said assembly error, bad request, connection error, JavaScript errors, operations errors, property error, redirection, runtime errors, whatever the errors that you it is coming, soap errors, validation error, that you need to define here everything in that things. Okay. So when you three, so we'll go in the detail in each of this section. So now going forward, this class will be like we'll pick one operations, we'll do use case on that, we'll design the APIs, will you invoke this API using the postman, and we'll check that it's working fine or not. Okay, the whole thing that we will check. Okay, sometimes we face the issues because this is an IBM instance, sometimes it is down, sometimes it is working. Okay, but mostly it is stable instance that we have chosen, so it should work actually every time, it should work. Okay. I guess for right now I just given you the overview that how API managers look like. One API is that demo APIs that we have created. I have given you that whole the what is a major component that we use here, design, gateway, script, and each component will go into depth. Okay, in this way. But later on, I'll before that start, I'll just give you one more another overview, like what is the open API. I'll just give you the what is the open API document itself, what is the space, what is the provider organizations, what is the gateway, what is the catalog, what is this in the brief. I'll just go in the next slide in the next session. Okay, so for today, we'll just find up on this thing itself.